um job job in 2025.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just talk
Okay.
about it, basically. So there's a pattern that I have noticed last year, 2024,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's creeping into 2025. So, and that is, and this is not only for Nigerian jobs alone. This is also speaking to people that are looking for foreign gigs. That
This is what I like to hear.
the
Hmm.
the
Sorry,
market,
say that again.
yeah, the job market is becoming very saturated,
Mm-hmm.
Very, very.
and the tech industry also. The advent of AI has also changed this game
Mm-hmm.
for tech professionals. So the question is, there was a job post I saw on Twitter. I think they were looking for I think a software developer, and that Twitter post had over 5 million views. So 5 million views, and they are looking for just one person. So
That's crazy.
imagine the number of people that would have applied to that job, and that is the same
Mm-hmm.
thing that I see around almost different jobs out there. So, and that incident has kind of led to a lot of people getting, unfortunately, unlike during the days of COVID, before immediately after during COVID and immediately after COVID, where a lot of people were getting these jobs because there was a lot of investors' money in the startup space. Even where I had a lot of tech friends that even had they were working to remote job. Right now, a lot of people are even finding it very difficult to get one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Girl one. No.
so the thing is
Yeah.
this, as a tech as a as a tech as a tech person, so how do you still position yourself for this job market? Are
Mm-hmm.
people still getting this job? Yes, people are still getting international gigs. Are people still getting foreign jobs? Yes, people, even up till now, people are still getting this. So, out of these numerous applications that people are saying, how do you position yourself? I think the best advice I'm going to give anybody is to keep creating. Create. Move away from you just being a front end developer. Move away from you just being a back end developer. I think you should start thinking of being a product engineer. And when I say product engineer, that means as a back end engineer that you are, as a tester that you are, as a data analyst that you are, as a front end developer that you understand the whole life cycle of making a product, like bringing a product to life. Like if somebody is talking about, okay, we want to build a fintech application, we want to build an e-commerce application, you understand what it takes to start that project from the design, from the UI UX stage to the design to the back end development stage to what is required in front end stage to the deployment stage. Now, that is one part. So we are slowly moving away from the era of saying that I am just a back-end engineer, I am just a front-end engineer, I'm just a DevOps engineer. You really need to start understanding, you start listening when the back-end people are talking, start listening when the testers are talking, start listening when the DevOps guys are talking. Understand what it takes to to everything that is involved in product development. That is one of the first things that will make you first of all stand out, because every company right now they are looking at saving costs. So if you now have the ability to be able to understand what is happening on different fronts, the it will now that will first of all help you stand out. Then number two is you really need to, as an engineer that you are, as a tech person that you are, you really need to come out of this mentality of tools and frameworks. Like I hear people say a lot. Um, I'm a React developer. I'm a Vue developer. I'm a PHP developer. I'm um I'm I use this tool. Like it is your tool, the tool that you are using that is defining the role that you're taking in a
What
company.
you who you
So
are. Mm-hmm.
that is already putting you at a disadvantage because
Limited, yeah. Mm.
React, let me take for instance, React JS was created for a purpose. Redux, which is used for managing states in React, was created for a purpose. You really need to understand the problem they were trying to solve when using states and what made them to actually create something called Redux. You really need to understand what was existing before the what was existing before Power BI came in. What was existing before Cypress came in? What was the problem they were trying to solve that made them create this tool? You really need to understand, first of all, the problem, because once you understand what a state management is, what the problem that cookies created in front-end development, then you'll be able to understand why the tool called Redux was created. But we have a lot of developers out there. We have a lot of tech people out there, but I can tell you that there is still high shortage of quality ones, and that is where you can stand out from. And lastly, you need to now move away from. You need to strategically start creating things. Like you have, you've learned, you probably you've taken months to understand a particular topic in development. You've taken months to understand you've taken months to understand a particular language. One thing you need to know is that these days, right now, the same way somebody that has almost 100,000 followers on their social media page, the same way they hustle for this job is the same way somebody that doesn't have a social media presence is going to hustle for this thing. Sometimes some of these things doesn't even give you an edge. The most important thing is that you really need to start creating things, start creating tools, start creating things that is solving a particular need out there. And I'll pick it from what Texas said, that first of all, try to solve a problem, at least to come out of that financial misery, that financial hurdles that you are currently in. The second thing is, if you're really targeting that job market, you need to start putting a lot of things that you are creating out there. This is one thing I do. For me, I have there's an open source application I created back then, and I was interviewing for a job. There was a certain time I was interviewing for a job. Luckily for me, these people were using my tool. The tool that tool currently has over 100,000 downloads right now. I just created it and I dropped it there. Whenever I'm writing code, what I'm always asking myself, this problem I'm solving, is there a possibility that somebody will need it out there? So what I do most times, I'll just bundle them as a package and put it out there on my GitHub channel, on my GitHub repository. I'll write about it. I was not even on social media. I was not doing a lot like I'm doing right now. I will just put it there. They interviewed me and we got talking, and I discovered that they were using one of my packages. That was how the interview ended, and they gave me that job on the spot. So you really need to move out. I can't sing this enough. That you need to every day. And this is one thing I do when anytime I'm working on a code base. I look at the packages that they install, and when I look at the packages that they install in making up so I go to their GitHub repository. Then I look at the issues that people are complaining about. Because most of the time, some of these packages we use, when you look at pandas, when you look at matplotlib, those things are packages that we have them on GitHub repository. I go there, look at the issues that people are creating. Oh, I cannot do this. I cannot. I install this thing. I could not get this. So what I do in my spare time when I'm not writing code, when I'm not doing any of this thing, when I'm not reviewing any code, I try to solve this issue. Sometimes I just try to reply. I might not even probably go ahead and solve it. I might just reply that, hey, guys, you are doing this because some people sometimes it's not the package that is the problem. Sometimes they might just be doing it wrongly. So I'll just sometimes I reply them, I drop comments there that, hey, guy, you are not doing this thing, you are not doing this thing right, oh, you're doing this. So the creators of some big companies are using this package. So many big companies are dependent on Matplotlib. They are dependent on Redux. They are dependent on these big packages. So when they go there and they visit all these repository a lot, now React was created by React was created is created by Facebook. There's no way you are going to be active on the React issue log that the people that matters in the Facebook community will not take notice of you. There's no way. So you have to be intentional about helping people solve their problem in a space where they are going to be aware that you exist. So create a lot of things. If you are looking for job by March, I'm putting it to you that create like 10 things out there, different things. Just put it out there. Just keep creating things. This one does this one does this. Then when you are now putting the application out there, you can now structure your application in this way. It's different from I created this for this. I created this package and I created this package for this company, and this company probably maybe they just got funded this and this year ago. I created this, I created that. People are looking for people that are going to make their problem disappear, not people that are very skilled with Python, very skilled with Pig, skilled with different tech stack. We're in the age of AI, and the reality is here. I think let me just stop on these notes. Yeah,
Now, just to add to everything he said, I'll summarize it. We are actually in the space where, as a tech person, whether a tech sis or a tech bro, you need to start thinking about products. Career right now is product based in the sense that your skill as a data analyst, what analytic solution can you build that will solve problem? In the fintech space, they fight a lot, with fraud issues. What is that? How can you solve that? What ideas do you have? What solution do you have? End to end. Funny enough, it has to do with end to end. So that does not necessarily mean that you need to now to build all. And like TIP said, we need to, at this stage, to think outside the, not even just outside the box, without the box, understand what sales is all about, understand what business is all about, understand pipeline, understand different things, from different stakeholders, because that will help you know how you even think about your analysis. You are analyzing a data, you are asking yourself, what problem am I trying to solve, on the long time? Well, I'm just doing analysis based on what they tell me to do. As an analyst, my job role is to ensure that customer retention is being solved, issue of customer retention is being solved. Look beyond that. What will give someone upper hand? It is that problem you're trying to solve, that product. If you can I don't know the English, whether productize whatever solution, whether you are a web developer, we are actually in that stage. When people employ you, like even recently, if you look at some jobs, they tell you they want someone who has an entrepreneur mindset. Some go ahead and tell you they want someone that has this ownership mindset. Ownership mindset is that ability to own a product. That's why in that company, you're like the CEO. You think broad about solutions. You think broad about product. I remember one of the job I had in one of the fintechs I worked on. Before I went to that fintech, I was just thinking, how would this interview be? I've never worked in the fintech. All my life has been in health sector, it's been in power sector and education and the rest. But I needed that change to transition into fintech. While I was thinking about it like 2 years or so ago, and I said, okay, let me even go and study their their insight, from Instagram, from Twitter. So I started doing what we call a customer sentiment analysis, where I study the complaints of customers. After doing that, I now decided to even go check their Google Play Store, to check complaints. At the end of the day, I was able to build, will I say, a simple solution, that helps tells the company what their pain point was. And in that interview, when they asked me the first question, say, why do you think we should hire you? I remember telling them, you need to hire me because I know your problems and I know how to solve them. And they were like, what do you mean? I said, as at the moment, you guys are losing customers because of trust issue on your products. And I asked for permission that can I share my screen? And they said yes. Instantly, I showed them that analysis on Collab, Google Collab, and they were shocked. And that's how we ended the interview. There was no all these questions like your skill, what do you know, do you understand?